One of my favorite things about Chessbase 17 is that when you buy Fritztrainers from Chessbase, you can integrate them into your Chessbase 17 software. So here on my screen, you can see that I have even Sokolov's Middle Game Strategies, Volume 1 through 6. For full disclosure, I've recently gotten my hands on 5 and 6, and I have not watched those DVDs yet, but I have watched Volumes 1 through 4. So for 5 and 6, I definitely expect 100% superbness from these DVDs. So how this works is that you can open up your DVD. For example, here is DVD Volume 5, which deals with Rosalimo structures and Marcosi structures, and Volume 6, which deals with Royal pair structures. And so, being that I have not watched either one of these DVDs yet, I thought we should watch the first minute of each intro together so we can really get an understanding of what he's trying to present in his videos. Because again, I like how he present his middle game strategies. He is presenting more strategies. He's not really trying to like necessarily test you on like whether you think this position is good, how would you evaluate this position. It's more like he's helping you develop strategies from well-known positions, well-known openings, and you can also use those to branch out and they can carry over to other types of positions. Again, this is not an opening DVD. It's just so happen these types of structures that you may run into when you're playing chess. All right. So now before we move on, let me tell you a little bit about who even Sokolov is. I've already introduced him in another video, but what I recently found and I did not notice, he is the coach for the Uzbekistan national team. All right. So let's take a look at the official world team's website. And as we can see here, Uzbekistan is in the team championship finals. They played a semifinal game today, a round against Team India today, and they beat India. It looks like 3-1, I guess, or they beat not necessarily 3-1. They beat them in two of three matches, and to beat India, and if you go back and look at who they beat Ukraine to get to the final, I mean, Uzbekistan is strong, extraordinarily strong. And so you take those two pieces of information with a grain of salt that even Sokolov is their coach, and he's also a world renowned, I think, a world renowned expert in middle game strategy training. These DVDs are going to give you some top notch information on how to develop these middle game strategies. So let's quickly, before we look at the intros, let's just quick number to go through volume 5 to show you what you'd get. You'd get some videos and analysis here on a Rosalimo, Marcosi, same thing. You get sort of videos analysis here. He comes with exercises in each DVD. Um, you also get practice positions as well. But to me, the best thing about this, believe it or not, other than him really walking you through and showing you his strategy and listening to him verbalize it, you go to bonus, you see analysis and model games. So if you click model games, opens a database of, let's see how many games here. This is 156 model games that has been procured by an expert in this middle game strategy. Think about this. If somebody said, hey, go to the database, pick out 156 model games for this middle game strategy, how would you go about doing it? I mean, that'd be a pretty arduous task for the average person, but here you have an expert that has procured you a database of model games. And I would say that this alone is worth the price of entry to this DVD series. So that said, let's back up here. We're going to start with volume 5, go back to the introduction. And we're going to watch about a minute of this introduction, and we're also going to watch about a minute of volume 6 introduction.
In my Sicilian DVD, I have tried to focus on two variations. I have focused on two variations, both of which I think are interesting for club players. Well, one is Marozzi bind. And focusing on Marozzi bind, I did analyze the basic Marozzi position, which means this Marozzi bind. let's say this can be in my starting position. I did not analyze some other sidelines because obviously black can also play some sidelines, but I decided to focus on, because black sometimes likes to delay move f5, move knight f6 in order to be able to play f5. This time I have focused on standard positions, and here ideas either like knight g4, which was played a lot by Bent Larsen, and then very often Bent Larsen, what he was doing in such a kind of positions was developing queen to a5 and pushing g5, keeping king in the center, sometimes even pushing h5. This was his typical kind of play. I also did, of course, focus on the old main line, which is, for example, this also can be played. Take d6, and such a kind of positions which we have. Then also some of those a bit slower play when you play move like d6, and trying to explain the tension, what to trade, what to keep, and how to deal with those kind of positions. I was also busy with black's plan, let's say, to play with this a5 pawn. Let's say black.
So, all right, as we can see, he's showing you typical structures and telling you like how to deal with certain plans in the structure. I think this is a very valuable way he presents this because, again, you can look at a lot of positions. You can determine. You say, "Hey, I've seen middle game training where like it's a lot of, and it's good training because I do it all the time. When you say look at positions, you kind of wonder, you kind of evaluate who's winning, you kind of evaluate the piece, you kind of evaluate activity. Yeah, I do a lot of that, but sometimes you got to really understand a plan in a position. Because if you're just looking at say positions presented to you, you would know that, say for example, if it's white to play that there's something going on in the position. But if you was playing a chess game, you might not really have necessarily any idea because you're playing a game. You don't know when and how to look at the structures of the board to develop a deep plan. And this is really what he's trying to show you here is how to develop these deep plans, how to understand what are the typical plans and how to avoid, say, some plans that might be, you know, not good for you, but also how to try to execute plans that would be good for you. So let's go back here. All right, let's try DVD 6 and let's watch a little bit of this intro.
I would like to give a small introduction to Ruy Lopez DVD. What did I try to achieve and why did I do this and what is the aim of this DVD? So, okay, we have a Ruy Lopez. This is not opening DVD. It is based on understanding of the middle games, and I have tried to pick up the positions which I have played all my life, trying to somehow give my experience, to share my experience of playing some positions for a period of 30 years. And I wanted to focus on a classical type of positions, so classical type of positions which is likely to come in a practical tournament play and to help players with the decision-making process.
Exactly. That's a perfect way to put it. Again, if you're going through positions and say, hey, that white, for example, if I show you a position, say, hey, it's white to play, what do you think is going on? You're going to really be looking at a position. You're going to be really looking for things. But say in just some cases, for example, in a typical Ruy Lopez, how would you formulate a plan when you get to certain positions? So that's really what these DVDs about. And I think that it is quite beneficial to, the tournament player and the intermediate player and higher. Well, intermediate tournament player and higher. And I think that they would get a lot out of these DVDs. With that said, I can highly recommend these DVDs here. This here is the Chessbase webpage here of volume 5 and 6. You can get them as a bundle and get a small discount. But again, to me, the database that he procured of the model games are to me worth the entry fee, because again, no matter how much videos you watch, the best way to really learn some chess is actually playing through games. You guys take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.